I enjoy figuring out what that person's about. I like figuring out a backstory for that character, of reading those lines and saying, why are they so mean? Or why are they so angry? Or why are they drug addicted? Figuring out their backstory of how they got to where they are in that hour and a half of the play that you get to see. I like that becoming another person. I think if you really ask an actor, they really also like the applause at the end, that you did a good job. I mean, it's instantaneous gratification that, people stand up or they applaud and say, yay, and, congratulate you after the play. That's always nice. How would I describe myself? I think in general, that I can talk about from the acting side of it, I think in general, I'm pretty liberal. I have a pretty good sense of humor. I see I like sort of that classic, I like people that tell jokes, but I also enjoy sarcasm. I think sarcasm is very funny if well done, if it's not mean. I think I'm probably more witty than funny. I'm not a joke teller. I enjoy people's jokes, but I think I'm more witty than funny. I don't think I'm overly gregarious, but enjoy people, being with people, all kinds of people. I don't know that I'm a good conversationalist if it's coming my way, but I think I'm a good question asker of other people. I like to hear about their lives. I sometimes think my life was a little boring or something. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I think pretty caring. I see, and I think this kind of carries over into the acting part, I think I pick up on people's emotions a little quicker than other people do by what they say and what they do and how they act and how they sit and what are they doing physically and facial expressions. I think I pick up on that more than a lot of people, because when I notice it, I think other people are running over what I'm seeing in that person of how they might be feeling, and why would you say that to someone who looks like they're feeling that way? I think I pick up on that a little bit more, which I think some of those can help in acting, because if you watch enough people and listen to enough people, I think you have a bigger range of who you can choose from. That in this part, I'm going to sort of act like that guy I met at that cocktail party that I thought was kind of obnoxious, and my character's sort of obnoxious. I think it's easier to pull. It's easier for me to pull from that because I kind of watch people. Because I think because in a conversation I can hold my end up in a conversation, I think some people are surprised at how quiet I am sometimes. That I can sit and listen at a cocktail party. I don't need to be the center of attention, and I'll just listen and watch. So I think some people sometimes think that's a little odd, of why is he kind of funny and talkative, but now he's not. And I think I'm more the now he's not. I don't think I'm a big conversationalist. I wasn't a costumed character, but if you ran one of the rides, which is what I did, they liked you to stay in that character, make it magical for those people. So things like Jungle Cruise. If you're going to be a Jungle Cruise captain, then play the part and get excited about seeing the elephants and make the jokes and, play that part. Because if you're working the Jungle Cruise, you do that spiel 4 times an hour. So in 8 hours, you've done it 32 times, you can become kind of boring, but it's got to be new for every single boatload of people that you've got. And if you're working in pirates, now you don't need to do a lot of arg when you work pirates, but keeping up that suspense and seeing pirates, especially for kids, but adults get sucked into it too. But it's that kind of characterization that Disney really likes you to do. They'll even help you do it. If you're not very good at it, they'll help you with it. They know how important it is. I've done some community theater, and that's usually you walk in and do the read-through 6 weeks out from opening. So you've got 6 weeks. So that's blocking and rehearsing and costuming and lighting and sound and putting that all together in 6 weeks. At Sea Ranch, it was, the theaters there, it was closer to 8 weeks, which was nice. At Panorama, it's probably a little bit longer. It's probably 8, and it's a couple plays I've done that are 10. And it's simply because people lead very busy lives, and some of the other theaters I've worked with, they go to work and they do this. They do not go on vacation for those 6 to 8 weeks. That's the deal. They're there 5 nights a week for 6 weeks. So it can be a pretty long process, and a rehearsal will go anywhere from 2 to 4 hours a night. So it's a real commitment, but it's kind of a great exploration, and you find out stuff about you, and the play's interesting, and you find out about all those other people. So it's a great time. It's very team building. There's a lot of camaraderie that happens very quickly, that has to happen to get the play to go on. And then the play starts, so you kind of get there, and the opening night excitement. And then there's usually that question about, but now you have to do it 25 times. Isn't it boring? It's not boring. It becomes easier because you've worked hard to get to this. There's a point, like, okay, we're done. This is the play now. And it's always different because you feel different that night. And audiences don't believe this, but if the audience is I just finished a comedy in Olympia not too long ago, and a couple of nights we barely got complimentary titters from people at a very slapsticky, funny show. And you're just exhausted. It's like, I'm tap dancing the fast as I can here, folks. I don't know what to do. Should I talk louder? Should I do the da-da-da-da? You need a little more of this? Do I need to tell you when to laugh? But when people laugh at a comedy, your acting just gets better. It just gets bigger and brighter. So each night's sort of new. Actors are notorious for changing lines. I mean, not to change the story, but what they're saying is not what they said last night. It's a gist of what it is, which makes it sort of exciting. It's like, okay, I don't have my line coming up here. I don't hear my cue line because they've changed it. So you really have to listen to the guy, okay, that must be the end of a thought. Here I come, and say my line. So, because you also get better, because you've got more and more practice without it. You get more and more practice by yourself. There's not a director saying, that's not what we talked about. And you can just sort of let go of it. So it actually becomes more fun. So my hint to audiences, it sounds good to come on opening night. We're way better toward the end. We've had lots and lots of practice with audiences. Daniel Day-Lewis, for example, I never see acting. You very immediately watch that character happen in front of you, as opposed to watching someone act like someone in front of you. And I think now, knowing what goes into that and the difficulty that goes into that I appreciate those kind of actors more. And they don't have to be famous, but I think famous actors are sometimes famous for other reasons. But I think watching somebody become that person so deeply and so thoroughly and so truthfully, it has to move you. And I think it makes them great. I think I've learned in acting the shorthand of acting, because like many people who start acting and you're being directed, it's not just go up there and have a lot of fun and put on a show. There's a director there. And I think I felt the same way that a lot of people did of, oh my God, I'm not doing it right. That's why they want me to do it again, because I didn't get it right. And overly concerned about what they want. Well, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to say that? Which any good director say, they're not going to do line readings for you. I've only had a director do a line reading for me once because I pleaded with her, I don't know how to say this, tell me how to say it, so she told me. So I think I've certainly gotten away from that. There's some technical things about acting, about, you quickly learn where's the light. You have to have the light on you or they can't see you. The whole don't turn your back, if you need to pick up the thing off the floor, watch where your butt is. The audience is not interested. Things with props that you've got to get the prop thing out of your mind, because otherwise the prop will become the star. And if you're going to go to the refrigerator and get something out and prepare a plate, and I've had to do that, it can't look like I'm thinking about going to the refrigerator and putting the things on the plate. It's got to happen while you talk, because nobody stops talking to someone in the kitchen with them if they're making a sandwich. They don't go, I have to make a sandwich, don't talk to me. And it's how do you make the words right as well as the action. That becomes very important. The whole blocking thing, and it's a funny thing about blocking, that once the play is blocked, once you know when is the time I sit down, when is it I walk across stage, and when is it I turn on the radio, and all those things, somehow, and every actor says this, the lines become easier. That you hook the line to where you are and what you're doing. And if the director's done it correctly, then yeah, you got it. But I found that amazing. It's just, so a lot of actors, it's the longest part of the process, is all that blocking of where you are when you do things. I love it because I know that it's going to help me get those words down, so I have to think less, because you really don't want to think when you're up there. If you think about what your next line is, then you're not listening to what that guy's saying. So I think I've learned that one, the whole listening thing. And part of acting, and you hear this all the time, is listening to the other person. Listen to what they're saying. Don't lose them. They'll get you there. They'll help you just by talking, but they're going to help you if you listen. So I had listened for an hour to myself and to the other actor. And we got to that point and something just exploded. And there it was. I was in full-blown, almost not able to get the words out, hysterically crying about this guy's death, which is kind of how it's described, and that's what the writer wanted. But I thought, I don't know if I can do this. And it came during a rehearsal for the first time ever in my life. I've always, not faked it, but I've acted that emotion. I never felt that emotion.